Hello everyone. You may have heard news break yesterday from the Instagram account Taking the Initiative, the official Taking the Initiative Party Instagram account, that Sasha Johnson has been shot in the head and is in critical condition. They say that it is with great sadness we inform you that our own Sasha Johnson has been brutally attacked and sustained a gunshot wound to her head. She is currently in intensive care and in critical condition. The attack happened in the early hours of this morning following numerous death threats as a result of her activism. And then they go into a bit of a profile on Sasha Johnson, but we are going to do that ourselves anyway. Now, of course, this is horrible news. And for those of you who don't know Sasha Johnson, I wouldn't say she is a particularly pleasant person, but that is no reason for her to be shot in the head. But if you're reading this, it makes it out that it was a result of the death threats that she was shot in the head, when really the post is saying that she got death threats as a result of her activism, which is saying a different thing. But either way, bringing that up in this post makes it sound like this was a political attack, and well, we'll be going into more detail on this a bit later. But to start off with, I do want to point out how many Twitter accounts that are against Sasha Johnson for her, quite frankly, extreme Black Lives Matter activism were very, very civil about it. For instance, we have a tweet from Lawrence Fox just saying praying for Sasha and her family. Fair enough, that is a good reaction to this. We have Claire Fox, who is known for her Daily Mail writings. A lot of them go against Black Lives Matter and their activists, but even she says that she has no truck with much BLM ideology and often disagreed with Sasha Johnson's divisive rhetoric. But this story of her shooting, whatever the circumstances, is a tragedy. A young woman, an activist, a mother of two, awful. I hope she makes a full recovery. And these are tweets that I can completely get behind. And just to quickly show you what some of her activism was like, Andy No made a bit of a thread on Twitter on this, but he started the tweet off a bit oddly, saying Sasha Johnson, a British BLM leader, was critically injured in a shooting in London. She's currently hospitalised with life-threatening injuries. Okay, that's all true so far, that's fine. The shooting is sending shockwaves through the UK, where shootings are rare. Now, the second part is true, shootings are rare in the UK, especially headshot wounds. But sending shockwaves through the UK, I don't think that's true. This has been on, front page news, but no one I really know is talking about it. No one really knows who Sasha Johnson is. Hence, I'm going through some of her old clips now. Though I do want to point out these clips are some of the same ones I used in a video I made about a year ago, where she did make one of the front page conversations on Twitter, simply because of these clips, because she is a bit of a twat. Anyway, let's have a quick reminder of what Sasha Johnson was like in a quote-unquote civil discourse.
Racism thrives on capitalism. The back of racism is capitalism. And they say about education, we need a black militia. I ain't scared of no terrorist group. The police is no different from the KKK. They stand around and protect statues and buildings instead of people. They need to join the local council and start to litter pick too.
Yes, that alone I can see why some people would want to threaten her after saying some of those things. The whole thing with racism being built on capitalism, I mean, we've heard that more than enough times to know it's just bollocks. But to say that the police is as bad as the KKK obviously goes beyond anything in the realms of reality.
When I say if they have a pepper spray, we have our own too. They have smokes, we have it too. Come together, put your fist in the air. Black power! Don't ever be scared to say it doesn't mean that you hate another race, and anybody that said that you hate them, they too have hidden racism because they're scared of your blackness. Black is beautiful. Black is evident. And when I say free Palestine, do you know a guy called Cecil Rhodes?
So I'm just going to stop that clip there because she just goes on about Cecil Rhodes doing his bad stuff in Africa, whatever. But you can just tell from this that she really does not have a clue what she's talking about. I don't even think she listens to herself. Because when she says, the police have pepper spray, we have our own too. No, you don't. That is illegal in the UK. We are not allowed anything really for self-defence in the UK. It's crazy. But then she starts saying, put your fist in the air and say black power. She then says that's okay. This doesn't mean you hate another race. Oh, by the way, they have racism too? Which then implies to me that yes, indeed, she does hate other races. And then she randomly brings up Palestine, and from there moves on to Cecil Rhodes. I don't really see the through line here at all, but you get the idea. She's an idiot, and all she wants to do is LARP as a revolutionary, while wearing basic military attire. But that's where I'm going to leave that particular clip, and if you want to see me react to the rest of it, As I said, I made the video a year ago called Black Lives Matter, Oxford's leader is mental, because she clearly is. But that's not the only clip we had from Andy No that he's dredged up. We also have this lovely one.
Why do you think kneeling on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds
so
wouldn't kill him?
I can show you a video now. Of
That's a legal hold, by the way.
I'll show you.
Listen, you just need to shut up, man. You're a queen. You just need to shut up.
Get angry some more and threaten me some more.
Get angry and threaten you some more?
Yeah.
I promise you, I don't threaten you, I promise you.
Promise. Okay.
So come out there. Let's live through the promise. Come out there, let's live through the promise.
Come on.
Come out there and we'll live through the promise. I can promise you now.
Come on.
Come out there and we live it through.
Okay, dude.
You're a coon. Dude, what? What do you mean? Because I'm a girl, you think I'm gonna fuck you up?
Come on, man.
Because I'm a girl.
We're here to
You're here to drive this side out to make it look like all black people are ignorant. Yeah, I'm angry right now because of what's going on. It's made me angry, yes. Just like when he was angry when he thought that his town was being destructed, his city statues were going down. I'm angry too.
Of course you're angry.
Yeah, so why are you calling me dude? What does the dude mean?
And you also
what does the
said
dude mean?
You don't believe stats and facts
What
and data.
does the dude mean?
It's recorded. So
What does the dude mean? What does the dude mean?
Do you know, I'll be honest.
How am I? You're what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We're what you are. What we're
Irrational,
dealing with.
Overly emotional, angry, quick to violence.
You calling a black woman angry? You're a coon. You don't need to be in this conversation. You don't need to be in this conversation.
You should be able.
How can I racially abuse this man? Can someone give this brother some knowledge? How can I racially abuse him? How can I?
Unarmed black men being killed,
Do I believe?
No.
Yeah, again, in the other video, I react to that clip a bit better, but I thought I'd just let it play out there. Sasha Johnson is actually one of the main reasons I don't actually believe any type of racial or ethno-nationalist when they say, oh, I want a homeland for white people or black people or Asian people or whatever. Because as soon as they meet someone of their own skin colour that disagrees with them, they just hurl racial abuses, start insulting them, and cannot have a civil discussion at all. Well, most of them anyway. I have actually had some civil discussions with them, but I will say they are rare in my experience. But moving on from the racial abuse that Sasha Johnson gave people and promising to, I assume, harm him, we can see why maybe some people would not like her activism enough to actually harm her. But as I keep having to say in this video, none of this is a reason to in any way harm her. She doesn't deserve it. She is speaking her mind, and I encourage things like that because I know now I would really like to avoid someone like Sasha Johnson. So now we've reminded ourselves of the type of person she is, I still back Lawrence Fox's and Claire Fox's and all the other people on the right's opinions that, yes, she might be a twat, but she doesn't deserve to be shot in the head, and I do hope she recovers. And of course, David Lammy and other racial grifters were saying similar things, which I'm okay with as well. So David Lammy said, this is gut-wrenching, praying for Sasha Johnson, her family and friends, that she makes a quick and full recovery, and then the needless hashtag Black Lives Matter after it. Which, yes, Lammy, I generally agree that Black Lives Matter along with every other race. It's a shame that Sasha Johnson doesn't tend to agree. It's also a shame that literally a day after this, quite frankly, probably one of his better tweets, because it's about as far away from political as Lammy gets, but he had to do a little video for the Labour Party saying, oh, remember George Floyd, sorry, St. George Floyd, of course, how could I forget, saying that he was murdered and that we need to eradicate structural racism in Britain because of something that happened over in America. You know, a place with completely different problems to the UK. The further decline of the Labour Party is what I live for these days. Speaking of the decline of the Labour Party, Diane Abbott had to have the worst tweet going for this whole episode. Black activist Sasha Johnson in hospital in critical condition after sustaining a gunshot wound to the head. Nobody should have to potentially pay with their life because they stood up for racial justice, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Apparently Diane Abbott yesterday had some information that the rest of us had not had, and unfortunately she turned off her replies so no one could directly reply to her saying, wow, you're an idiot, where is this evidence? Though luckily we could quote tweet her. Though I don't know which part of this is worse, the fact that Diane Abbott has assumed that it was someone who disagreed with her politics that shot her, with absolutely no evidence whatsoever, or the fact that she doesn't even say I hope she makes a recovery or anything like that. None of this was actually about Sasha Johnson. This is the type of stuff I hate, where you take a tragedy and all you do is try and push an agenda. Now, I do realise people might think it's ironic I'm making a video on this where I am indeed trying to push some sort of narrative. Though in my defence here, one, I'm not doing what Diane Abbott said, and I have said in the video I hope Sasha Johnson makes a recovery and no one deserves what has happened to her. And at the same time, I'm bringing things up and saying, look, this narrative's wrong and here is why. And luckily, I'm not the only person doing this to Diane Abbott. She was on LBC yesterday, and Ian Dale did what any good journalist should have done, and that is to challenge her on her tweet. So let's have a look.
You tweeted something earlier today which you've come under a lot of fire for on Twitter. Now, you've linked this shooting to racial justice. Even people who were witnesses are suggesting it was a gangland killing. Haven't you actually inflamed racial divides by tweeting something when you hadn't done your homework?
Yeah, I mean, this was the thing. This is why I waited a day to actually do this video, because I wanted to wait and see what the actual details of the crime were before I put my voice forward on it. Because ultimately the video yesterday, if I made it, would have just been, well, we don't know what did it. If it was, done for political reasons, obviously that's bad, put the man in jail. But then it would have been, or if it was gang violence, then obviously that's bad, put the gangs in jail. Oh, Sadiq Khan, you've not done your bit. Though while we're on the topic of Sadiq Khan, I can't see anything on his Twitter feed to do with the Sasha Johnson shooting, but I do see him retweeting the David Lammy video saying George Floyd was murdered, get rid of structural racism. Funny where your priorities lie when you are Mayor of London, I suppose. But anyway, the point being that, yes, I would like my details to be put in the video as well, so that I can accurately dismantle what people have to say, using all the facts I can get my hands on. Because otherwise, I'd look like a tit, a bit like Diane Abbott does.
No, I mean, you didn't see the commentary on this woman being shot in the head. There was a huge amount of concern about it, not just online, but in the papers and the media.
Notice how Diane Abbott keeps pointing out. She can't just say when she was shot or when she was injured or something like that. She has to say when she was shot in the head, as if that changes the fact that Diane Abbott has implicitly lied about why she has died and why she was shot. I mean, yes, we're all interested in why she was shot, Diane Abbott, but we're not going to push our own political agenda making assumptions on why she was shot. I mean, you're saying, oh, but look at all the threats she was given. She wasn't given any threats from the newspapers. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that she was sent death threats through social media from random accounts. No doubt in my mind that happened. Is it relevant? To a degree, yes. But when it turns out, as we will go through a bit later, that it had nothing to do with her political views that she was shot, then you look like a massive tit.
And she is a black activist. She was shot in the head, and people were concerned as to why. And if you raise issues of race and you're accused of inflaming tensions, that doesn't really get us anywhere fast.
What, and you think implicitly lying about why she was shot gets us somewhere fast? No, Diane, you've made yourself look an idiot. Most of the UK disapprove of you anyway, and all you're doing is racialising an issue that, quite frankly, doesn't need to be racialised at all. People like you, David Lammy, and to a much larger extent, Sasha Johnson, are one of the main reasons that politics in the UK seems eternally stuck. Because you will never be happy with how the UK is, so you will stop it moving forward and progressing to, say, getting to space or making more explorations under the ocean or something like that. Just any sort of progress. You want to stop that because racism that only exists because it has to exist because it keeps you in power for some reason. I am begging you, please stop.
This woman is a mother. She had a bullet in the head. We need to take that seriously.
We are taking it seriously. You're the one not taking it seriously by trying to push your agenda. You don't care that she was shot in the head. You don't care if she recovers. All you care about is that you can push your agenda to say that the UK is racist when absolutely no racism has happened here. So you have to push a narrative that it was racism.
Not try and deride people who mention it.
Well, we absolutely do need to take it seriously, but if it's a gangland killing, if it was an accidental killing, which is what people who witnessed it seem to be suggesting, and she isn't dead, and let's hope she survives, but just by plainly linking it to racial justice, you are creating a division there when you don't know that that's true.
Yeah, Ian Dale's right. I mean, thank God we're getting GB News, because I think we're going to get more interviewers like this from there. Yeah, sure, people are calling them controlled opposition and things like that, but bloody hell, take what you can freaking get. We're never going to get the perfect media outlet from any mainstream source. Please stop calling it controlled opposition just because it's not your perfect version of a freaking media outlet. We have people on the mainstream deriding this stuff. That is getting rarer by the day. Thank God we're going to have an entire channel hopefully dedicated to this sort of thing. Even if they are hiring Proseccos such as Tom Harwood, I will take what I can get.
I think it is so wrong to accuse people of colour who raise issues in relation to race of somehow inflaming feelings. We don't know, actually, whether it was a gangland killing. It may have been that she randomly took a bullet, but we don't know for certain. Nobody's
No,
saying
exactly,
for
which is
certain.
why you shouldn't have tweeted what you did.
I was about to pause and say that myself, but Ian Dale has done it for me. But yeah, you're absolutely right. She's saying, oh, we don't know how she was killed. So, all right, Diane, why are you saying you know it was political?
Yes, but when you accuse people of colour of inflaming feelings because you raise issues about race, as I say, that doesn't take us anywhere.
And where's it taken us by you raising it at all? It's taken us to a complete tangent on the actual issue, which apparently in London is gang violence, because we are going to go through an article on it soon. But quite clearly you are just being a grifter at this point, Diane Abbott, and trying to accuse other people of... You're implicitly calling Ian Dale a racist by saying, oh, you're accusing a person of colour of inflaming racial tensions? Oh, that's racist. That's essentially what you're trying to do without saying it. Honestly, I don't know how she keeps getting voted back in. Well, I do know, I just think YouTube will ban me if I say it. But anyway, more information has come out about Sasha Johnson's... I'd nearly said killing, she's not been killed, but Sasha Johnson's shooting. According to the Times, the black rights activist Sasha Johnson was shot by 4 men in Peckham. She helped organise protests in London last year for the black rights movement and was shot in the head on Sunday. 4 men were involved in the shooting of a leading black rights activist, Scotland Yard said this morning. Sasha Johnson was shot in the head after 4 black males dressed in dark clothing stormed into the garden of a house in Peckham, South East London, officers said. Johnson, 27, was hit when one of the group opened fire. They left the scene before the police arrived. Commander Alison Haydari of the Metropolitan Police said, from our inquiry so far, we have established that Sasha has been at the party at the house on Consort Road in Peckham early on Sunday morning. Around 3 a.m, a group of 4 black males dressed in dark coloured clothing entered the garden of the property and discharged a firearm. They had left the scene before officers arrived. Sounds like gang violence more than anything else for me. If it turns out that they didn't like her politics and shot her because of that, I would be absolutely astonished. But alas, it is still a possibility. In fact, the Times go into it. Haydari said that there was no evidence to suggest that Johnson was the victim of a targeted attack. We are also not aware of any reports of threats made against her prior to this incident, she added. Well, that goes well against what everyone was saying that she was getting death threats, but there we go. It comes after Johnson's friend Imran Ayton, who met her during Black Lives Matter protests last year, said that she was shot when gang members opened fire at rivals at a house party. Ayton, who said that she had spoken to Johnson's close friends and family, told BBC News yesterday that the shooting was more related to rival gangs as opposed to her activism. She added she thought Johnson, a mother of 3, was not the target, so get stuffed Diane Abbott. But I keep seeing conflicting reports of how many kids she has as well. I'm just going to assume it's 3. But that's just another point of how little she is known in the UK. No one can actually get the number of kids she has right. Anyway, the article goes on, but the only other important bit of news is that no one has been arrested related to this attack yet. And then there's the odd opinion from Taking the Initiative Party saying, oh, she always fought for racial justice and things like that. Just the normal crap. But having said all this, it does appear that Sasha Johnson has been targeted before for her political views. For instance, she posted a video to Instagram in March showing the back window of her car smashed in. Who did this exactly, I'm not sure of, but I wouldn't put it past being a political attack. But again, attacks like this, there is absolutely no reasoning behind it. In fact, all political attacks seem to do is further entrench people into their already warped view of the world. It's best to treat them with respect, even if they are total twats. Though I think to finish off this video I can't help but irony post. Another post of Sasha Johnson's shows the Black Code. It's in fact her second most recent post, another one being about a Free Palestine march. But in this we can clearly see the Black Code. So do not steal from one another, do not kill one another, don't sell or offer drugs to one another, combine your dollars and buy collectively as a group. It goes on and on and on and on. It's just normal collectivist garbage. So when it turns out that Sasha Johnson has apparently been shot by 4 black men, I just sincerely hope that her worldview can change to something that is a bit more civil. Because as we can see, she has another post that also comes from March with a load of flowers saying the police are London's biggest and most dangerous gang. With the way the police are working to help Sasha Johnson and the way that the government institutions and the UK in general is hoping for a recovery, I again sincerely hope that with her recovery comes from some real reflection. It is a large hope, I know, but if she can pull through a headshot wound, hopefully miracles can come in pairs. Because it is genuinely sad when anyone gets shot in the head. As far as I'm concerned, Sasha Johnson has not done particularly much wrong, apart from maybe threatening that guy in the earlier clip. But generally, it seems to be her activism that I'm mostly against. But as long as activism remains peaceful, which as far as I'm aware, Sasha Johnson's did remain, she just kind of LARPs in the military gear, I really don't see a reason for her to be shot. And as I've said many times, I really hope for a speedy recovery, and hopefully with that comes time to reflect on things she's done in her life. And I hope she improves upon it. But, well, that's everything I had for you today. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.